Good evening, and welcome everybody to the Tuesday, December 16th regular meeting of the City of Mercedes. It is 6:30 p.m. I now call this meeting to order. Next, I'll be establishing a quorum. I'll start to my right with the doc.
Commissioner Howell, place one, present.
Aldo Garcia, Commissioner Place Two, present.
Joe Martinez, Commissioner, Place 3, present.
And we have Commissioner Saldana, who is zoomed in.
Yes, I've zoomed in. I'm here.
All right, Oscar Montoya, Mayor, City of Mercedes, present as well. Moving on to our invocation. If you wouldn't mind, Commissioner Martinez.
Everybody please rise and take off your hats. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord God. Come before you, Lord God, as a united commission, united community, giving thanks to you, Father, for everything that you've blessed us with, Lord God. Lord, as we go forth today in this meeting, we ask that your presence be here among us, Lord God. You give us the wisdom and strength, Lord God, to do the bidding, Lord God, that you have called us to do. This we ask in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen. Coach, you got any captains here? You want to bring them up here to say the Pledge of Allegiance for us? I'd appreciate it. Oh, here at the mic. You can have this seat. You can have this seat in a couple of years. I think they'll vote for you guys quicker than me, man. If y'all wouldn't mind leading us in the pledge, we'd appreciate it.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one man, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
honor Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one nation.
Thank you, gentlemen. What is your name, son?
Eddie Ramirez.
Eddie Ramirez, what's your name? Robert Sanchez. All right, heard both of your names. Thank you. Next is item 5. We have open forum. We have Miss Adriana. I'm sorry, Miss Jessica Zuniga. My apologies. Sorry about that. I was trying to read where it says ordinance. Adriana.
Can I pick this up? Okay, so here I am again. Sorry, I've been kind of appointed the spokesperson for my neighborhood. So I have a question about ordinance on Article 8.03 noise. I know I spoke with Chief Sanchez, and we went over it. It's because our neighborhood has a problem with noise. It goes on all night until 6 in the morning, Friday and Saturday every weekend. So, and we looked it over and we saw that there was no hours on the ordinance. So I was wondering if I can have clarification on it, just to see, or maybe we can consider revising it to where it includes hours. Because, I mean, we were looking and we couldn't find it anywhere. And there's no fines, there's no list of fines. It just says amplified sound that within the neighborhood, and that's about it. So,
As you know, I can't answer you, but your point is well made. We'll take a look at it. That's a very good suggestion. We'll take a look at it.
thank you, sir.
No, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Nope, that's it for open forum. Thank you for coming, ma'am. Moving on to presentations. One of my favorite pastimes. I like fishing, hunting, and football. We have a proclamation for the Mercedes Tiger varsity football team. I think there's a lot of cause for celebration this year. One for you, coach, yourself, for some of the milestones that you've hit, for a team that went undefeated in regular season.
Yeah.
Definitely because we kicked Ed Chelsea's butt.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of good things happened this year. I think it's not often that people go 10-0, and so I just we as a commission wanted you all to know how proud we are of your accomplishments, what you all did. Another good thing is we didn't hear a bunch of bad stories about our football players doing bad stuff. You all have no idea what that does for a city. It's the opposite, the fact when somebody does that kind of stuff. So what you all did on and off the field is something very important to all of us here. Because believe it or not, at the end of the day, everybody wants their city to look good. So if the school looks good, if the football team looks good, if the girls' basketball team looks good, if the softball team, whatever, the city benefits from that. So that's why it's important for us to thank you guys for what you all did, for the sweat and the tears and the bleeding and the injuries and all the stuff that you all fought through to get yourselves to where you're at today. And I, for one, thank God that there wasn't a lot of bad injuries and that you guys had a successful season. And we want to see you all be successful in life. And hopefully you all come back to Mercedes and like some of your coaches here. Well, shit, almost all of them. So I'll go ahead with that. I'll go ahead and read this. So it's Office of the Mayor, but here we don't work that way. It's the entire City Commission of the City of Mercedes. Proclamation. This proclamation is honoring the Mercedes Tigers varsity football team, the 2025 district champions, by-district champions, and area finalists. Whereas the City of Mercedes proudly recognizes the outstanding athletic achievement and dedication demonstrated by the Mercedes Tiger varsity football team throughout the 2025 football season. And whereas the Tigers completed an exceptional undefeated district run, earning the title of district champions with a remarkable 10-0 record, reflecting their hard work, discipline, and their commitment to excellence. And whereas the Tigers continued their momentum into the postseason, securing the by-district championship with a decisive victory over Roma, finishing with an impressive score of 65-29.
Where's Paul?
For y'all that don't know, the guy to my right of me is from Roma. So.
Yeah.
You can laugh at him when you pass by. So. Whereas the team advanced to the area round, competing with determination and representing Mercedes High School and the City of Mercedes with pride, sportsmanship, and resilience. And whereas the Mercedes Tigers concluded their season as district champions, by-district champions, and area finalists, demonstrating the exceptional teamwork and leadership under head coach Roger Adame Jr. and the dedicated coaching staff. And whereas the Tigers closed out the year ranked number 2 among all 6A and 5A teams, a historic accomplishment that highlights the talent, effort, and the spirit of this outstanding team. And whereas the accomplishment of the Mercedes Tigers varsity football team have strengthened the community pride throughout the City of Mercedes and have served as an inspiration to students, families, and supporters across the Rio Grande Valley. Now, therefore, I, Oscar D. Montoya, Mayor of the City of Mercedes, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of City Commissioners Dr. Ruben J. Saldana, Dr. Jacob C. Howell, Commissioner Martinez, Commissioner Garcia, do hereby proclaim December 16, 2025 as the Mercedes Tigers Varsity Football Team Day in the City of Mercedes, and we encourage all residents to join the City Commission in honoring the Mercedes Tigers Varsity Football Team for their outstanding accomplishment and for representing our community with excellence throughout the 2025 season. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Mercedes to be affixed this 16th day of December 2025. Congratulations, Mercedes Tigers. Coach, I'm going to ask you to come say a few words, but I want to say this too. This is y'all's championship as much as it is your coaches, as much as it is your parents, and you can't forget that. As much as it is the friends that put up with you guys working out, your family members, and all that stuff that they did for you all. This is something you can take with you for the rest of your life, but don't forget to be thankful. And if you're a believer, thank God. And if you get a chance, thank your parents. Thank anybody who put into you, a grandparent, a friend, a neighbor, whatever that poured into you. Make sure that you don't forget to thank them as well, because you guys did something really, really great here. Coach, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank the city commissioner for taking the time to recognize the accomplishment of this team. We did feel it was a special year, an awesome year. As you're going through the season, and one win leads to another win, another win leads to, and then somewhere along the line you start feeling it. Hey, 5-0, 6-0, and it starts to be real. And we talked about stars aligning, and we talked about the magic ride that we can go through here, and the season that we can have, and it's if you went to Tiger Stadium, which I saw all your faces, everybody there, the support, it's amazing. The electricity, the support, we felt the pride, we felt the dedication, we felt the support. And we believe in the power of belief to accomplish amazing things. And, you know, that was a testament to the city of Mercedes and the commission. I just finished saying here at the last meeting here that, you know, we had a send off there right before the playoffs, and we went through the, you know, to the borderland, and we went to the schools, and just it moved our players, it moved our staff, and just seeing how, you know, we can bring a city up, like you mentioned earlier, and then provide not only for our generation, but the younger generation too, and seeing what can be accomplished through hard work. Like you mentioned, we put a lot of work in this, and we talk about working in the dark. People say, well, you guys practice in the sun. So yeah, but you're working in the dark when nobody actually sees what's being accomplished, where, you know, your true character is revealed when you're out here in June and July and everybody else is hanging out at the beach or doing other stuff. And, you know, these guys are putting in the time and work for their city, for the community, for themselves, for this team. And so we really truly appreciate that, you know, we are recognized out there. So thank you very much for everything.
No problem, Coach. You all are recognized. And I tell you something that was kind of pungently painful for me was to watch some of these games where our stands were full, and I'm not sure what's going on at the other stands were not, man. And that's hard. That's another thing you guys need to appreciate, that you have so many people supporting, people that don't even know you, that are out there supporting you just because, you know, they're proud of what you guys are doing. But that was something that was real. I was like, wow, I really was floored to see several teams not fielding people in the stands, and thank God our stands were quite full.
There wasn't an empty seat. I can tell you that's most people I see when we played at Country at home. And look, I turned around for a minute to try to see telling the clock guy to hurry up and run the clock. When I did that, when I turned around, I saw the stands. They were packed, not an empty seat. And that's the power. And that's the power of that brings in the energy and stuff like that.
So I want to give everybody a chance to say something. Doc, you got something?
Yeah, obviously I know most of these guys. I'm there helping these guys on the sideline. I'm so proud of the coaching staff and the gentlemen here, but all the gentlemen here, they're young men. But I think one thing that gets overlooked is that, these guys are true champions in their character. They have a great character. They're becoming men, and I'm proud of that. But another thing that gets overlooked is that every single one of these guys had a pass. They're student athletes. And so just for that, you do amazing work, and you are setting the standard for the next generation of Tigers. And I know most of y'all, some of y'all, Luke, who else got like all-state academic? I know they had a couple of guys.
We have Luke. We have JJ Garza.
If you can just take a step forward, and I just want to just.
We have Brandon Acosta.
So these guys were academic all-staters, correct, Coach?
Yes, Aiden.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Give these guys a round of applause, man. So not only are the coaching staff and the athletic department building champions on and off the field, but obviously scholars. And so because of that as well, congratulations.
Thank you, Doc. Ish.
Gentlemen, I want to congratulate you all on a tremendous season. I've seen some of you all grew up through the baseball, umpiring your all's games through Little League. You all have become some wonderful young men representing the community of Mercedes. This year was a fantastic year. You know, like Mayor said, you know, and Coach, you know, when you all look out into the stands, you can see that the backing that the community of Mercedes gave, you know, over when you all played up in Corpus, the last game, you all could see the difference in the people that were there. There was more people from Mercedes than from the other community. So that speaks volumes of our community, the city of Mercedes, the people that backed you, you know, and, you know, we're very proud of you all. You know, I'm part of the quarterback club as well. So, you know, we were out there day in, day out, you know, with you all, and, you know, we're very proud of everything. So congratulations to you all for a great season. Coach, you know, your staff as well, you know, congratulations. And it's time to move on for the next season.
That's right.
Reload.
That's right.
Dr. Saldana, if you have something to say, but
You bet I got something to say. I wouldn't miss an opportunity to share a little something. I'm in College Station. My daughter graduates from A&M tomorrow morning with a graduate degree here, and so much like not missing any of the games or the playoff games for the Tigers is another achievement I didn't want to miss either. But we followed you guys all season. We made the trip to Corpus. We were there when you whooped up on the gladiators from Roma. And I just can't tell you how proud we are, and looking at the strength of character that was out there on that field. Y'all put it all on the line, and you had a lot of help getting there with your coaching staff, the community, everybody behind you guys. But many years down the road, you know, when you've got white hair like the rest of us, hopefully you still have hair. Some of us lose it. But this will be something you look back on many, many years from now. And these achievements leave indelible marks because they reflect the effort that you put forward and how hard you work for it. And those are the things that we appreciate most. So I could go on and on, but guys, we can't be prouder of you. And we thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to honor you tonight. Congratulations and our best wishes. The only thing harder than getting to the top is staying there, guys. So but we'll be there with you next year as well.
Thank
All
you, Doc.
right.
Ines, go ahead, sir.
Well, I mean, you guys pretty much already said everything that needs to be said. Mine's more football related. But I'm very proud of you guys for what you did. And I want you to know I work at McAllen, so it's a really cool feeling to walk in and people say, man, Mercedes is undefeated. Man, Mercedes is good. And that guy right there is awesome. He's over there killing defensive tackles like they're nobody's business, man. And they would show videos to me. I'm talking about people from other cities show videos of this guy right here manhandling defensive tackles, and they were so impressed. But I tell them that's just how it is in Mercedes, man. And to me, Coach, that speaks volumes of you and your staff. It's very seldom that you see a coach last as long as you have, right? I mean, because it's just that kind of business. But more importantly, the consistency that you have in winning year in, year out. And it's only a matter of time before we break that threshold and we go beyond area. And who knows, maybe one day the foundation that you guys sets the tone for a state championship. I mean, it's not an impossible feat, but everything that you do has been the standard that is set from here on out. So, Coach, to you, your staff, all you guys here, man, congratulations. Heck of a season, man. I can't wait for next year. And I was just going to tell this quick story because I told some of you guys. I said I made a poster for a coworker of mine from Elsa. And it's the one where the guys are coming out and it's got the orange flare coming out. And I had them put the score on the bottom, and I put that sucker on his office wall. And I'm like, you keep that up all year long, buddy. You know, because next year it's going to come again, man. But congratulations on the season. Great season, guys.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, now what politicians do best. Can we take a picture with you guys? Y'all mind?
Coach, I got one more comment.
Okay.
Go Tigers.
Yeah.
Line up, you guys here against
Mayor, we might need to stay up here.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to get these guys are too big, man. They're gonna
Too big, so you might want to stay up. We can move the chairs out of the way. Son como quiera, mira, están más altos que nosotros. Como quiera, están más altos que nosotros. Hey, Joe, if we're standing up here, they're still bigger. I know. I'm gonna- Big Eddie over here. Shift to the left. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
We got 5 of the guys to make the All-Star game, so you have a chance to see them more times. January 10th for All-Star game.
Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations.
All right, Big Eddie, you're on, brother. So you can go manhandle them.
See, guys. Happy holidays, guys. Be careful.
Dolphin Hero.
She went to,
I want to see after.
Want us to move, down to, consent agenda. Hey, so I've had a request to move, consent agenda up. Somebody mind?
Yeah, Mayor, make a motion to move consent agenda, please.
I'm sorry, not, my bad.
Sorry,
Consent.
which one is it?
And, okay, all right. Okay, my bad. We want to move up, we need to help our attorney out to executive, move it up.
Okay, after,
So we'll move it, we'll do the proclamation, I mean, the presentation, then we'll move it up. Item B, presentation by the chief building official providing an overview of the 2024 International Building Code.
Mr. Alvaro de Leon.
Good afternoon, City Commission, Mayor. My name is Alvaro de Leon. I'm the Chief Building Official for the City of Mercedes. And the reason I'm here today, I just put in a little presentation for you guys to consider the adoption of the new 2024 building codes. So I just go very briefly on that we're already drafting an ordinance that will probably be presenting to you guys in the next commissioners meeting for approval. But today I'm just gonna put in some slides there just to brief you on it, and I'll go real quick.
It's over there.
puro PowerPoint.
Okay. So basically, what we're proposing is the new 2024 that are just came in this year. So most of the municipalities around Texas, they're pretty much moving on to I'll just go over. Here's a little background of the codes, and pretty much, building codes exist to protect the health, safety, and welfare of building occupants. Currently, the international code written and published by the International Code Council, which is the ICC, are the codes that are adopted by virtually all cities in the U.S. The National Electric Code, written and published by the National Fire Protection Association, is the electrical code adopted by virtually all cities in the U.S. Both the ICC and FPA publish new editions of the respective codes every 3 years, allows for newer construction techniques and materials to be included in each code, allows for issues causing concerns related to building safety to be addressed regularly, and also local amendments to the codes are often adopted by cities to address the unique factors and standards in their communities. Pretty much the proposed update is, recommends updating the City of Mercedes current codes to the latest version related to ICC and FPA. We're currently under the 2018 ICC, and we're proposing the 2024 International Code Edition. And pretty much right underneath that is all the families of the international codes, the different codes. And also the NEC is on its own. It's actually one prior to the ICC. Basically, we're on the 2017 and we're proposing the 2023 electrical code. So pretty much the update will bring the city of Mercedes in line with most of currently published building codes. Additionally, the ISO rating of the city is affected by the addition of the code adopted by the city. ISO reduces the scoring when jurisdiction is more than one code cycle behind the currently published codes. Now that the 24 codes have been published, any jurisdiction that has not adopted a 2021 or 2024 codes will be graded down when their ISO rating is reviewed and calculated. The city of Mercedes has currently adopted the 2018 codes. Therefore, we will be subject to a reduction in our ISO rating if newer codes are not adopted. And basically, this is just a slide of all the family of different codes, fire code, electrical, plumbing, pretty much everything. And of course, the 2023 NEC is on its own. And this is just some of the, I guess, changes that are going to be nothing major really that's going to impact, construction as far as cost or anything like that. There's a lot of wording and definitions that maybe have added or they have removed some of the language and stuff like that from the prior codes. A lot of contractors are already kind of meeting the 2024 building codes. Some other cities, so they kind of already meeting a lot of the stuff that we're adopting. They're already doing that. So like this one, for example, they just before they added the water system or sewer system to the utilities, and so same thing for the temporary connections. And this is another slide that for historical buildings, pretty much they removed a lot of the language and added more, I guess, on the definitions for some of the stuff. Like this one, there was some new added definitions on the 2024, which defines more what a sleeping loft is and or sleeping unit, things like that. Same thing for this one, habitable attics. They pretty much removed everything that was there before, and they just pretty much put it as finished or unfinished space. That's pretty much what defines an attic space. This is new. So pretty much the lighting control is going to have you're going to have like a sensor or some sort of, dimmer for any habitable spaces, which is habitable, your bedrooms and living rooms and pretty much, and also some of the areas in the garage and unfinished basements, laundry rooms and stuff like that. This might be, a little bit a cost associated with that. I know some cities, surrounding cities are kind of holding up on this one a little bit just to consider maybe, because of the cost, but we'll gradually, start, requiring this as we go.
Will our ISO be affected if we don't adopt certain parts of it? So it's all or nothing.
Not really.
This one in particular, if this one is if we don't move on that one, would that?
It's not going to affect it. We can always amend sections in the code,
Okay.
to I guess to benefit what the city needs and stuff. But in this one in particular, I don't think if we're removing a section, I don't think it will have an impact on
Mr.
that.
Leon, is there a time frame that people would need to comply at their homes for this, or is this new construction or remodeling or?
No, so we're gonna throw it out there, right? Once we adopted it, we go that route, we're gonna advertise it. Of course, we're gonna work with contractors, we're gonna go and hammer down right away. So what it's gonna take time, right, to transition. So like I said, I mean, there's not really nothing major, maybe, stuff like that, but nothing major that's gonna impact. It's gonna be pretty much the same as the 2021 or 2018, for the exception, some like I said, some definitions and restructuring and things like that. But
This is probably one of the biggest.
this is probably one of the biggest ones. Yes, that's why I put it there.
I'm assuming they're trying to save energy.
Of course, yes, that's the intent. Yes, sir. And this one is just a slide, like I said, on the chapter 3 of the code, a lot of restructuring, moving like from other chapters and kind of put it in one chapter altogether, so we don't have to be jumping down to look for an answer or something, So this is another new requirement, pretty much on the plumbing code. Now that on the sewer line, they're gonna request a tracer, a wire, something to be put in within the line. So that's something that was not required before, and it's gonna be required.
That's so we don't have to dig up a bunch of places
Exactly.
looking for it.
Yeah. So that's another, and this is another one that was added. It's another method of testing your drain, waste and vents and stuff. Right now on the curing code, they only have the water, right? To test with water. So sometimes, when you are on the construction site, there is no water. You have to bring water to test the lines and stuff like that. So this will be another method in case they don't have the water or the means. This is gonna be more for the
a lot
contractors. And this one, same thing. Most of the contractors are already complying with this one, which is your door that from the garage that leads to the main house. It requires for the door to self-close, right? So, yes. This was implemented in the 2021. So a lot of the contractors already complying with that. So I don't think there's going to be an issue as far as this.
Oh, I
as far as this
remember
one,
it.
so.
This has to do with people sneaking in.
I
the
think the intent
garage.
of this one is because we tend to on the garage to store the vehicles, right? Which might be a fire hazard or smoke or something in the vehicle,
what it is. I knew what it
So
was.
that's, I guess, to prevent the door to close. Okay. This one is, of course, the 2018. I don't know, you can see it clearly, but there's some change kind of from the 2018 to 2024, the wind loads. That's the wind load. This is what the designers do to construct the buildings or design the buildings according to the wind loads for the areas, right? We're kind of the border from Cameron County and Hidalgo. So, but there was some changes, 10, 15 miles an hour on some of those maps. And this is just a slide with this is what the risk categories is, what the buildings they categorize it on the building code, from risk 1 to risk 4. Pretty much this is how they design the buildings, the wind loads according to whatever criteria you meet on the design of the building. Like, for example, this is the tool that we use, and I use City Hall as an example. And this is the tool that everybody uses to calculate the wind loads. Pretty much just type in the address and what type of risk category building is. Like, for example, the City Hall came out to 145 miles an hour. And this is also another one that is going to be requiring for more for duplexes that is not sprinkled with a fire sprinkler system. They're going to require to have some sort of alarm, something, if you made this criteria where you're on top of of another one, single family or two.
That's an exterior audible alarm.
Yes. So, and pretty much, it's been on the code, for single family or two family dwellings to have a sprinkler system. But of course, in 2012, the state of Texas adopted House Bill to nope. So I kind of just put that one out there, and it's still in effect. So, and this one, of course, on the electrical vehicle chargers, if you're going to have one, pretty much they're throwing in what the requirements will be to be installed in a garage area. So pretty much they're not going to require it in case you're going to put one. Well, this is how you're supposed to put it, kind of thing. So pretty much this is just a slide of all the family of the building codes. And that's it pretty much. And like I said, I mean, we're going to be drafting the actual ordinance that we will be sending to you guys on the next meeting. This is just something just to brief you on the proposed changes.
Like I guess something for clarification for people. I have like 4 light switches in my bedroom, and 2 of them have dimmers. Is that going to qualify, or they would have to all have some kind of a?
Well, remember, this is just for new construction.
No, I'm not asking for my house. I'm talking about for future reference to clarify that, because I got a feeling that's some of the stuff that's probably gonna get questioned.
Yes, so pretty much, yeah, you're gonna require either.
Every single switch in a bedroom has to have a dimmer
Correct.
or.
Any habitable space, which is your living room, bedrooms,
Wow,
like that. So,
okay.
and that's why I mentioned, some other surrounding cities, they're kind of looking into this particular one because, at the end of the day, you don't want to put a burden on the contractors and, but this is kind of getting the one that kind of sticks out the most.
And Alvaro, I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't mean to cut off. I just want to, and this is something that cities around us are already kind of updating and doing. We're kind of just barely catching up to the ball game, right?
Not necessarily. There's some cities that they actually they adopt it as they come, like the cycle's every 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So most of the cities in the valley they were pretty much following the 2018, and they're moving on to the 2024. So pretty much we want to be in sync with all the other cities, so we all the contractors will be on the same page, pretty much.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate you, Alvaro.
Thank you, Alvaro.
And keep up the good work, man. Every time we get a report on all the stuff out there, good job. Item C, presentation by fire department regarding fire training with Sister City Ramos Arizpe Fire Department. Twice.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission, citizens of Mercedes. For the record, Fire Chief Javier Campos, Mercedes Fire Department. So on June 6, 2025, the City Commission approves a resolution of the City of Mercedes to participate in a sister city program with Ramos Arizpe. The sister city program encourages greater friendship and understanding between the City of Mercedes and the people of Ramos Arizpe. That resolution laid the foundation and collaboration of training efforts I'm sharing with you this evening. I'd like to provide a brief update on recent joint training with our sister city that was held on November 19, 2025 at our Mercedes Fire Department Station 1. The training was made possible through the partnership with South Texas College, which the commission, which was approved months prior here. Through that agreement, we granted access to the college fire training props at no cost to the city and to our department. Using this vehicle prop, our crews were able to conduct realistic hands-on exercises, which is strengthening our firefighter skills, improve cross-border coordination, and supported on ongoing commitments with regional cooperation. Firefighters from Ramos Arizpe traveled to our city and trained alongside our personnel, sharing techniques and building strong professional relationships that benefit both cities. This partnership not only enhances the safety and readiness of our department, but also reflects positively on the City of Mercedes as we continue to collaborate with our sister city and other regional partners. As always, I'd like to thank you for the continued support from the commission and from our mayor and from our city manager on the opportunity to keep our firefighters safe, trained, and well prepared for our citizens. So on June 26th, a resolution was adopted for sister city. I don't remember that. So there was some coordination within the city manager's office to coordinate our sister city to come over here and start training with our firefighters. So if you look at, I printed out some pictures. So we took a couple pictures of that evening on November 19, 2025. They joined us, 3 firefighters from our sister city. Vehicle fire training, which is a prop that we obtained, which is right here on the right-hand side. We got it from our STC campus at no cost. And this is one of many props that we do have access to from now on after the agreement was done. It's a picture of their pickup truck. I know they posted on their social media, if you follow them, and they had a lot of likes and shares on their side. So they were very happy and proud of coming over here. So before our training, we had some class hands-on discussion on how to respond to fires, how to properly turn off fires, especially electrical vehicle fires. That's something that we did speak about. So before we actually did the hands-on, we did some classroom work, and then we got onto the vehicle fires. So this right here is a clean burn. This is no wood, no hay. This is propane that burns, which is safe for our environment and safe for our firefighters. That's the trailer that we get from STC. Inside that trailer is the actual prop, the vehicle. Couple of firefighters attacking the fire. Some basic skills on how to approach a vehicle fire. And this is an ending picture of those 3 personnel that came over here from our sister city. Spoke to them that evening. Also the following morning, I believe they had breakfast with Mr. Perez. They were really excited. So we're planning an upcoming training probably within the end of January, early February, to do a light burn, a 2-story light burn at the college at STC. And we're gonna have a night operation. So we've been coordinating with them, and hopefully we get that squared away and taken care of. So other than that, it was a good turnout.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
Good job, by the way. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Chief.
Chief.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I just can't, Joey, Chief, I want to let you know, man, that we had breakfast that morning with those firefighters, and they were like super grateful for everything. They were sharing stories and their training. This isn't really much over there, and that the way they do things and things like that. And I think, you know, it kind of dawned on me, I think with everything that's going on in this world, man, especially with, you know, how things are so divided, things like that. I think it's a really good thing to see us extend a hand to our neighbors to the south of us and say, hey, man, you know, if there's anything that we can do with, you know, training. I think we had provided some equipment in the past.
Correct.
We'd also done so for Reynosa. And I think that that goes a long way. And then you sharing this whole, that they shared it on their social media, they had likes, things like that. That has an impact for our city, because now when they come to the valley and they come shop, they know Mercedes because of what we've done, you know. And so I want to just tell you personally, you, your staff, the firefighters, for doing that. That's a great thing. It's a great thing for our city. It's a great thing overall. I mean, it just goes to show you that we don't have to be divided. We can extend a hand to our neighbors and we can help them out. And it was a great thing. They were super grateful for it, man. They were super grateful for the experiences that they had. So thank you, Chief. I don't know if you ever get told that, but thank you for all that you
I
guys do,
appreciate
man.
it. When we met with them on June with Mr. Perez, we asked them, what do you need from the fire department, from our fire department? And one thing they spoke about is training. You know, they were speaking about all these calls that they're going to, all these technical calls and all these fires, these large tanker fires they're having that were probably worse fires than we have here in our states. And they asked, we needed training. We needed training for our firefighters and our staff. So that's one thing that I spoke to
And
Mr.
boots.
Perez, you know, and boots, right? I spoke to Mr. Perez and he said, you know what, let's get the training done. So that's why I bought that that's one of the reasons why I bought that agreement through STC, because I knew that we could obtain those props and share with them and also train our firefighters. So it was
Well, these trainings and these things are putting us on the map south of the border, and I think that's big, and that's gonna have an impact. Like I said, when people come over here, they're gonna know who Mercedes is because of that. So thank you, Chief, for that.
Yes, appreciate it. Thank you.
Good job, and
Great
Chief,
job.
and well said, Commissioner. Moving on to item D, presentation update regarding tax increment reinvestment zone number 1 and number 2 by Mr. Bill Calderon.
Yeah.
Bill, he was on there earlier.
I'm here.
Oh,
there he is.
How you doing, Bill?
Hey, Bill. Can y'all hear me?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. It's good to be with you guys. I guess, let me start and take this in reverse. You know, your agenda calls for presentation and update on both TERSs. I'll start with number 2 first. Our status on that is that, you know, the city approved, the council approved the draft interlocal agreement and sent that to Hidalgo County. And there was some back and forth between the auditor's office, the county judge's office regarding additional information that was provided both by Meredith and Jocelyn and Albert on the city side, and myself with a couple of phone calls and emails. Ultimately culminated in a meeting that was requested by the county to provide additional information. What we discerned from the meeting very, very quickly into it, well, before I go there, bottom line is that we satisfied all of the, I think, technical questions that they had relative the interlocal agreement for number 2. There was one outstanding question related to the time frame. The county guideline prescribes that county will only participate for 20 years in reinvestment zones these days, and our interlocal agreement had a 30-year time frame. And I indicated to them that that was one of the things that we discussed with the county judge when Mayor, when we had dinner that evening several months ago. It was basically left as an open item.
So there wasn't much discussion about that, but moving on to TERS number one, it became very apparent that the county was wanting to vocalize concerns relative the city's management of that reinvestment zone over time. The short and the sweet was they made mention of lack of audits, lack of consistent payments to the TERS fund, and lack of reporting to the county and to the state as their primary concerns. And basically, what we came to understand was that they wanted to have the city rectify these patterns of noncompliance with the interlocal agreement. We countered with comments to them that the reinvestment zone and its mismanagement, just to be very blunt, was a product of not this administration, but mostly the last administration or two, and that the reinvestment zone itself was not properly set up when it was back in 2009, and that coupled with a lack of an understanding of how best to manage municipalities' participation in such a tool ultimately led to the reinvestment zones not functioning as originally contemplated. We spent some time belaboring those points, but at the end of the day, the county left us with a request that the city, number one, consider a couple of options. One would be to catch up on the lack of reports that the county auditor specifically had been requesting for some time, and or two, consider a modification of the reinvestment zone to make it work better, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, based on where things are at this point in time in the development of the area that was originally proposed to be catalyzed and stimulated by the TERS. There was some back and forth between the city and the county. Your city manager, I think, did a good job of presenting to the county that the city, the current administration had indeed made efforts to rectify the pattern in practice by providing additional information to the county. There was county's retort to that was that there was still a lot of information lacking, but we made very clear that record keeping on the city's part, primarily due to the prior administrations just simply not doing a very good job, made it very difficult to play a game of catch up on all of the information that previously had not been submitted to the county. The way the conversation basically was left was that the county suggested that the city look at which options they might consider in terms of moving forward with that reinvestment zone. But it was very clear that they wanted to bring that up to compliance in order to then take to the commission recommendations for any modifications that might need to be done. And they wanted all of this done before moving the TERS number 2 interlocal agreement to the court. I made, I think, a pretty serious case for not harming the developer for TERS number 2 based on what had happened with TERS number 1. Despite that, they decided that it would be, and presented to us that it would be difficult for them as staff to recommend to the commission approval of a interlocal agreement for number 2 without rectifying what had transpired with zone number 1. On our side of the fence, after the call was over, we had discussed looking into what information might be provided to the county evidencing that the city had indeed spent money on improvements that were in the project plan, to see if there might be some consideration on the county's part to participate in having, in paying for, partially for some of those improvements. And I'm not sure where staff ended up on that, but we had also, even prior to our call, discussed the possibility of the city considering just a termination of the reinvestment zone, because based on my read of the plan, and I think your city manager and your staff can probably verify this, conditions in that area have changed dramatically since 2009. The purpose for which the reinvestment zone was created has changed substantially. I'm not sure that it would make a lot of sense to consider a modification to the zone or an update to the zone plan, because things have changed pretty radically. And so from my perspective, I think path of least resistance might actually be just to propose to your commission and your council a termination of the zone and notify the county of the same. The auditor did indicate that they had been escrowing revenue for some time, and should the zone be terminated, that would automatically free up county revenues to go back in. Probably would appreciate.
To go back into what? Bill, you cut off.
Yes, sir.
To go back into what? The escrow
Into the
money?
county,
Okay.
into the county's general fund.
Okay, good. Okay.
Right. And that's basically where we are. We committed that there would be a research and investigation on the city side of the fence and a huddling on our side to determine our best path forward before scheduling a follow-up meeting with the county. And we are in a holding pattern at this point, waiting to set that up.
Oh, is anybody? So,
Go
go ahead. Go ahead.
So I just had, so just to kind of debrief some information that I gathered. So there's one of two options they're giving us, which is what you're saying is one, quote unquote, to catch up on reports. So this would mean, I guess, giving the county audit reports or default records. And number two, and or consider reevaluating the reinvestment zone. And so these are, picking one of these two options would be best. And your best opinion and your experience is doing what again, sir?
I believe that the path of least resistance to move forward, given
Cancel it.
Cancel it.
given where we are and the lack of information that is available to be able to accomplish a catch up to all of the lack of reporting historically, would be simply to deem the reinvestment zone a failed effort, attributable mostly to how it was set up originally, and take an action to terminate it. The statute does allow municipalities or counties that create these to take such an action. At this point, there is no harm, no foul for any developer that has an outstanding indebtedness. There would be a walking away from a possible receipt of county revenues that were never paid to the city. But your interlocal agreement with the county does require, several things to trigger county payment that simply were never satisfied, reporting and audits primarily.
Yeah, and so I guess would that also be considered, or could we tag that as number two, which would be the consideration or reevaluation of the reinvestment zone? So in other words, we looked into it and we reevaluated the contracts, the whole situation, and then decides obviously what the commission or what the committee wanted to do is do away with that. Would that satisfy that as well? So kind of kind of killing two birds with one stone.
I believe it does. I believe it would. And, you know, the county put on the table their willingness to consider amendments to the reinvestment zone in order to re-engage with the city in a positive fashion and play a participatory role. But, you know, it's been 16 or so years now since that reinvestment zone was created. Things have changed. The plan that was adopted with that creation really is no longer applicable. And my sense is that while, you know, one could take and make an effort to try to bring it up to snuff and salvage, you know, the remaining time frame, I don't see that that's as viable, frankly, as using other tools in the economic development toolbox that the city might use to the extent that they want to incent and catalyze future development in that same area that was bounded by the original zone.
Bill, if I can, Bill, real quick, I want to make sure that we clarify something here.
Yes.
We've been at this thing, commissioners, for probably 2 years now, I think. 3 years? Is it 3? So a valiant effort has been done by our staff to try and recover the stuff that they forcibly want in order to fix this. I don't think, this is my opinion, and my recommendation is that we put it on the next agenda to just kill that TERS. And the reason is because what they're asking for is impossible to get, number one. Number two, any money that they have that could come to Mercedes is going to cost us money. So it's not a zero sum, it's a sum. So in other words, for us to release that money,
Wouldn't it be feasible?
well, it's gonna, first of all, I don't think it's doable. And then number two, the feasible part of spending money so that we can get that money on top of the work we're gonna put into it, I don't think it's worth it. Now, the only question I had, and I think you answered it, is nobody's gonna get hurt by this. There's much more tools nowadays than there was before. And I don't want to complicate it. At the end of the day, I just need to know, is anybody going to get hurt? Either the city, a builder, an investor, somebody that bought land at this point?
The answer to that question is no.
Okay.
To my knowledge, based on my review of all of the documentation that's been provided to me, there is one thing I do want to point out that probably would have to be looked at. It's a very peculiar element in your interlocal agreement. There is a provision in here that states that the city will not take any action to terminate the zone prior to the termination date in the creation ordinance. I've never seen that provision in any interlocal agreement. I'm not sure why they put it in there or why the city council that was in place at that point in time accepted it. There isn't anything in the statute that speaks to one jurisdiction that doesn't create a zone limiting the one who creates it from killing it. So that's something that I guess probably would have to be discussed between your council and the county attorney. But I don't see that there's any way that the county could really hold the city in any way hostage to that provision. I just wanted to point that out. But I do believe that terminating it really is the path of least resistance at this point.
So one last thing. I think the clarification, I think there's more laws or more regulation that keeps people from holding somebody accountable 16 years later. I don't think they're allowed to do that, to tie us up like that, but that, again, that's up to legal. So again, unless you disagree, Mr. Perez, I don't know that we need to play, and we can still change it. I'm just saying, let's put it on the agenda. That way we can show some good faith effort to the county, and then between now and then, you guys can check the legal parts of it.
Well, what I'd like to clarify is, or add to what Bill already mentioned, what we're being asked to provide are for records that do not exist.
Don't exist, yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
in order to comply and catch up, we're never gonna be able to do that because we can't create these records if they don't exist.
And we tried, we put the
So-
meeting together, we did everything.
So it's a matter of, we're gonna have gaps and the TERS is never gonna be complete. Okay? That's on the reporting side. Then contributions were not being done. So if you ever wanna see anything coming from the county, we're gonna have to catch up on our side in order to see anything coming in from the county's contribution. So we're a long ways from there with gaps in reporting and then funding, the funding part of it.
So
So,
is there any part of you that doesn't think we should cancel it?
no, sir.
Okay, so let's put it on the agenda for the next meeting, and then we can discuss it there.
Mayor,
Yes, go ahead, Doc. Go ahead, Doc.
Listening to all this, I just want to say a couple of things. One is there's a practical side of this, and I agree, we just need to find a practical way forward on this whole thing, and so I agree with not getting ourselves too bogged down in, all of the things that have happened in the past. However, what do they say? People that don't understand history are doomed to repeat it. And I just want to make sure that I would like to understand. I know that there's missing records, there's missing reports, there's missing this, there's missing that. But and I'm not interested in figuring out who's to blame or anything like that. But maybe I'll talk to you, Mr. Calderon, and you, Mr. Pettis, about that. But I'd like to understand where the train went off the tracks, if only to ensure that does not happen again, because this does not make our city look good, and we can blame people in the past all we want, but the sins of the past are the ones that we end up paying penalties for in the future.
Sure. So I think your question about how things will be made better going forward really is a function of structure. And it's one of the things that I hammered home to the county at the very beginning of our discussion, where the previous administration failed when they created this reinvestment zone, is that they didn't belt and suspenders it by creating a local government corporation, as we have done here. The tri-party agreement that I drafted and that your council approved several months ago basically solves most of the problems that were created by lack of compliance, because that local government corporation, even though you guys are the same board of directors for it, is responsible for managing the reinvestment zone. The funds are transferred from your general fund to an account that is controlled by that. So it's an obligation that has to happen on an annual basis. And on top of that, the LGC also is required, pursuant to the agreement that you approved, to generate independent audits from those that the city generates every year. That package of information basically is what we would deliver in reports to both the state and to the county on an annual basis. And that solves 99% of the problems that the county's had historically. So, what we've done in creation of number 2 is solve those problems that were structural and lacking in number 1.
And Doc,
It'll solve all of them.
And Doc, just so you know, and at the time, it was a lot of the discussions were led by myself, the city manager, and the county judge's office with the auditors. So basically, this is very similar to what happened with the mall. Very similar. Lack of controls. There was no system in place. You find out years later. That's basically what happened. And I'm going to echo what Bill said. And I think in this time, everything that can be done to keep it on the forefront, including keeping up with our meetings, has been set into place. The other one was kind of set up haphazardly. I think they did it in a hurry to create the zone, the reinvestment zone. I was actually at the county judges during that time, and they were running around doing it with a lot of cities, and so people just jumped on it because they were offering 100% and on and on and on. So there's a litany of things that occurred to make this thing fail. It wasn't just all on the city, but at this point, that really, I don't think that we're doing that anymore. I think now we've got procedures in place. We've even got the boards in place, and we have meetings set up, and we just can't let it fail. It needs to be something that needs to be done from now on. And I think people can take legal action on us now if we don't comply. Is that correct, Mr. Calderon? Whereas before, we would hold them accountable because
The county basically will continue doing what it's doing, which is not participate on number one. But on number two, I think once these issues that have been put on the table are resolved, the county doesn't have any reason to hold back action on number two, which is what we were hoping to get.
And I think the other thing, what I meant by that, Bill, is that we now, instead of just setting up a TERS and hoping somebody comes in, the TERS is targeted towards projects now. So we're all gonna hold ourselves accountable, where before, Doc, I don't know if that makes sense, they just created a TERS. So there was nobody so that TERS was driven by governance and not by investors. Whereas what the county would rather do, and it holds everybody accountable, is to create the TERS when there's investors already, which is what we're doing now. So it's a much better system today than it was 16 years ago. I don't know if that answers your question, Doc.
You're absolutely right. It's very rare that a non-developer driven TERS will actually serve as the magnet that you want to catalyze future investment. So that's our status. I would suggest one thing to the administration, and that would be that prior to putting anything on the agenda to terminate the zone, that we keep our commitment to go back to the county and at least tell them that this is where it's going. I think that that keeps the spirit of communication and cooperation at the forefront, and it'll also benefit us in that we'll get whatever feedback we might get before you take your official action.
And they're gonna benefit them too, a few $100,000. So then my recommendation is still to put it on the next agenda, but make sure that we're communicating. And if we feel any resistance from, for whatever reason, if there's something, they have questions that we need to wait, just get back with me and we can. Okay. But I don't think they're gonna wanna wait, and I don't think we do either, so I'm sure they're gonna wanna close their books this year, so. Thank you, Mr. Calderon.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Item number, hey, Doc, is that good enough, or do you still have something? You good? Okay, moving on to item 7, consent agenda.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve consent agenda item 7A, B, and C for going to the final reading for B and C.
Okay, I have a motion for 7A, B, and C. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So we're taking out of consent agenda item D and E for discussion. Go ahead, Mr. Martinez, Commissioner.
Well, no, I don't know, Albert, if you want to touch base on the AI deal just a little bit. I just figured those were the items that maybe you want to kind of expand on a little bit.
Yes, sir. So, the item 7D is the approval of an implementation of an AI use policy. As you know, everyone's getting into starting to use AI. This was our way to go take inventory from every department to identify who's using it and not using it, because we don't want to be surprised that they're using it and we have no knowledge of it. If you are aware or not, when you start putting stuff through AI and you're disclosing, can you please write this for the city of Mercedes, and specifically contracts, whatever that is, it becomes public information. And so we just wanted to make sure that if we're using it, that we know how to use it, number one. Number two, if we're also using it for whatever purpose, that we also disclose, we use portions of AI to modify or enhance whatever it is that we're putting together. And it's just to be transparent.
Mayor, City Commission, make a motion to approve item 7, was it D?
D, sir.
Can we make it pending legal? I just had a few little minor edits that we were gonna.
Yeah, pending legal. Also, quick question, Mr. Pettis, would this kind of be an addendum to your the AUP, which is the acceptable part?
Barney, have you had a chance to look at that whole thing?
Yeah, so I'm requesting that we approve pending legal. We're gonna make a few changes.
Okay.
Would that be an addendum to your,
Yes.
okay,
Okay, so I have a motion by Dr. Howe. Do I have a second? I have a second by Commissioner Martinez. And that is approval, subject to legal review. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7E, approval of CLG 2026 grant application.
Mayor, Commissioner, make a motion to approve item 7E, approval on the CLG 2026 grant application.
I have a motion by Commissioner Howell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Discussion?
Yeah, man, I was kind of hoping that maybe we could get a little bit of background on it.
Okay.
You know, we jumped the gun.
It's coming from the library.
But I don't think she's here, right?
He's not here today.
Okay. So basically, we're matching at 50,000, right? For the
Yes.
grant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason why I did that was just for discussion as well.
Do we still have the motion second?
No, yeah.
Okay.
one second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Moving on to management item, present, discuss, consider possible, yes.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Approval of, I'm sorry, present, discuss, consider possible take action regarding approval of DCM policies regarding foreclosures and loan write-offs. Ma'am?
The EDC board took action last month to formalize a foreclosure policy and a bad debt policy, our write-offs. We generally do the write-offs at the end of the fiscal year, so around August, September, we do, loans that are not performing, we take them off the books if there's no hope for any type of collection, and then we send them over to legal. The foreclosure policy, that's been on a case-by-case basis, but the board does want to formalize it. So we had the attorney and our accountant review the policy, which they approved, and then the board passed at the last board meeting.
So they didn't want to go on a case-by-case, they wanted to formalize some rules.
They want to formalize the rules. The policy does lend itself to some
Leeway,
latitude,
yeah.
leeway that, if a borrower comes in and pleads their case, something could be worked out. But in the event that that does not occur, we have a formal policy to reference.
So we reviewed it today. We're also requesting approval with legal. There's just a few things that I wanted to confer with you and the attorneys on
Okay.
after talking to
Okay.
management.
So a motion?
Motion, Mayor.
With legal review?
Legal review, yes,
I
sir.
have a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same
Aye.
sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Matt, Melissa. Appreciate you coming by. Item 8B, consider take possible action to research feasibility of restricting vape sales and establishments.
Yes, Mayor, City Commission, I was able to appreciate you guys helping me out get this on the agenda. So as you've seen in the news, and I've been in education for close to 20 years, and here lately, I've seen the impact of vapes and drugs, not only in our area in schools, but across the Rio Grande Valley and state. I recently spoke at the state conference in Region 16, not only on drugs, but on how educators and the educational system can support teachers and support schools in general. And so under Texas Local Government Code 51.001, the city of Mercedes has the authority to adopt ordinances, fees, and regulations that protect the welfare and good order of the community. With that in mind, I believe it is time to consider stronger oversight, potential permit fees, and increases in additional regulations that measure
these vape shops, operations within the city limits. I would like some of these vape shops, because at one point it was 4 or 5 vape shops in the city of Mercedes. Literally, I didn't want us to be Vape City, which was getting scary. I think we just need to take a closer look at some of these establishments, because they pose a danger to our youth and could possibly violate the established health and safety standards. So I'm just asking the city commission to just kind of look at whether we can either regulate these things a little bit closer, and or close these shops down if they're not in compliance. Or again, I'm not in targeting businesses, but rather I want to safeguard the youth and ensure the safety of our community. And so I think this should be one of our priorities as a city.
Okay. So I know there's a lot of regulations, and I'm with you, Doc, on the vape and the dangers of certain kind of vapes. And there's laws out there controlling this. Matter of fact, I think the sheriff just did an interview today. I think it came out today. I just saw it regarding the stuff that's being sent over by China and stuff like that.
They just had fentanyl. They kind of found some fentanyl vapes and also about a week ago.
Yeah. And those were laced locally. The dangerous stuff is that in some of the stuff that they're selling to these kids that they're marketing is really dangerous. But the vape shops have a lot of control. I'm wondering if Albert, you can confer with the chief of police and let's see if they have the manpower. I know there's a lot of regulation that allows us to go in there and test stuff. I know we purchased some test kits at the sheriff's office. They're not super expensive. I don't remember the price, but they're not super expensive. And maybe there's something we can do here, short of trying to shut down businesses. It's very difficult to shut down a business if they're paying to be there and they're doing all the licensing and every stuff. But it's not difficult, what you're saying, to keep an eye on them.
And like again, I'm not in the shutting down business. I'm all about revenues. I mean, I don't know how much revenue some of these. I'd rather lose sales taxes in these type of.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
shops.
If somebody starts a business, it's hard for us to shut them down if they're operating legally. What I'm saying is, I'm with you on maybe what we need to do is step up our game to make sure that somebody's going into.
Right, like we have inspectors to go into some of these restaurants, right?
Yes.
And so all I'm saying is, look, I just think we just need closer oversight at some of these shops. Walk in, making sure that they might say they're regulated, but have they paid their state dues, their fees, or are they doing things right? And I think we just need to take a closer look at just to make sure that, look, we're on top of them and that they're not selling to the underaged, or they're in compliance as well. Have we checked whether they're in compliance and stuff? So that's all I'm asking. We just need a better oversight. If we could do that to help our youth and our community avoid some of these dangers.
And so SB 2024 is out there under the state, which also targets the e-cigarettes and vape shops. We'll start there and see what we can go and start looking at.
And maybe even grants to fund an officer.
And so we definitely can target what's already out there, take advantage of it, and monitor and see if they're compliant.
Now, one thing I would like to maybe look at is there a possibility of the city taxing them? In other words, if you're going to start a vape shop, we have our own tax that they have to pay for the city, or a permit fee, maybe hiring the fees for those permits, and then that funding goes into educational purposes with our police department for vape or that nature.
I got a question on that, Mayor. Well, I mean, I see that point of view, but one thing that I want to be very careful with, because I signed on to the item and I think, it's got merit in what we're trying to do. I don't want to single out business owners, because if owning a vape shop is not illegal, and we target those specific companies versus others, then it looks like we're just targeting certain crowd. And I don't want that to be the case. I agree with you. I don't really think vape should exist, but that's my opinion, right? But you still have every right to run a business, right? As long as you're not doing anything illegal. I agree with you 1,000%, because just the way TABC goes in to a bar and ensures that everything is being followed correctly, we should be able to do that. But I just want to make sure that we don't get too far ahead and say, well, we're going to, specifically target you. I think there's okay to have, I'm sorry, I just was going to say, I think we should make sure that, some of these places, because, there might be a few places that would sell certain items that maybe they shouldn't. And I agree that we should, maybe look into, okay, what would we do in that situation? Obviously, some of these places are on the up and up and some may not. But I just want to make sure that we're very careful not to necessarily single out a particular industry or company, based on that.
Yeah, we can look into new permits. We don't have much taxing authority, but we can also sit with chief and maybe some of our task force and find other ways to see what they're selling and make sure that, they're in line with the state requirements and adopt those if we haven't already.
Right. Well, obviously, the way it's worded on the agenda is to consider and take possible action to research the feasibility and restriction-based sales and establishments.
That's right.
And obviously, there's a lot of fine print in between that we've discussed, and I think we can find some merit just to make things safer for our community and for parents to know that, look, we're on top of it, and we're doing the best that we can as a city to make sure that these establishments are safe.
Is that a motion, Doc? You got a motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to ordinance resolutions, approval to ratify resolution 2025-30 agreement for the temporary closure of state right-of-way, third annual South Texas International Marathon.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Commissioner Garcia. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Howe. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to item B, approval of first reading of ordinance 2025-38, amending chapter 3, building regulations of the Code of Ordinances to add a new section, Article 312, entitled Annual Registration and Inspection for Multifamily Dwellings. Go ahead, ma'am.
So we're proposing an annual inspection for multifamily dwellings. It means like apartment complexes. A few weeks ago, we got a phone call from a resident that she's living in one of the apartments here in the city. She went to the hospital several times because there are mold in the apartments, and it's only not her, several other apartments in that same building. So we're proposing this annual inspection. Our building official has worked with this ordinance before in the city of FAR because it was a problem out there, and we don't want it to get a problem here. We don't want people to move out of the city because these apartments, they're not livable for the residents, and that means not having AC, not having that parking, or having mold in the building. So we just want to open the door and go out there and be able to have that annual inspection to check on those apartments and make sure that the residents are living in livable conditions.
So this is kind of similar to a couple questions, I guess. This is similar to like the housing authority has an inspector that goes and makes sure they're following certain rules. And then number two, are we gonna charge somebody?
Yes, it's gonna be the owner of the building.
And how much are we looking to charge for?
So the base fee is gonna be $50 and then $2 per unit that they have, because it's gonna be quite a long inspection that he's gonna have to go out there and do.
And they do this at other cities?
Mm-hmm. So the only two cities here in the valley that do it is the city of FAR and the city of Brownsville, and they have the same fee. Well, FAR does $20 per unit, and the Brownsville does $12 per unit plus the $50.
I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but the only concern I have is that.
You can close that door. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So the issue at hand is that individual that's a victim of mold not being taken care of by an apartment owner.
Yeah.
And so that person ended up in the hospital several times.
I know, but I mean, how many apartment owners don't have mold, and now we're gonna start charging because of what? My thing is that there's some people that are renting places that are $300, $400, $500 because it's all they can afford, and that the people who own the property, they're just gonna pass that down to, and that's gonna be a 10-15% increase to somebody that's living in a very low paying rent. I don't have a problem with it, man. I'm just trying to wrap my head around, finding something else to go and do because of a couple of people. Is this something that we're running into rampantly, or is this something?
Yes, we do have other problems where you have apartments in the Mercedes original town site, and they have 4 apartments in one lot, and this should be single family. But this is legally non-compliance for years and years that never got addressed. And now we have people without parking lots out there. The apartments are not in the greatest conditions, and sometimes the owners don't want to work with you. So we're trying to work with them, but sometimes they don't want to answer, or they're just avoiding it. And there's just little issues that we can make better for the residents.
Good.
I mean, you're saying that we have no authority currently to go in and respond to a complaint by a tenant?
Yes, so if,
I mean, I know.
if it's,
I know it's private property, and when you start getting on people's private property and doing inspections and things like that, it gets a little dicey, but we do it with businesses all the time when we're enforcing the various health and other kinds of issues that are governed by city ordinance. And I guess I'm much like the mayor, I'm just wanting to make sure that we're not you create this broad layer, I guess, of inspection. I want to make sure that it's absolutely necessary and that there's not something we could do. I mean, to me, it would seem a lot more reasonable for us to go in, much like if somebody complains they got sick at a local restaurant, we have the authority to go in there and spot check their kitchen, right? And just deal with people that we have a reasonable suspicion that they may not be following, the rules they need to in their kitchen. You get what I'm saying?
yes.
So Doc, are you kind of, I was telling Mr. Perez right now, and I don't know if you or Alvaro dealt with this more, but wouldn't we have, instead of creating a new tax or a new fee, of course we'd have to pay for it, but wouldn't a health inspector help us there? That way they can target the complaints as opposed to us hitting up everybody that has an apartment.
It's more of a, like, in the building side than the health. So
Well, no,
we're,
not
like,
necessarily. I don't want to get into I heard you say air conditioner. I don't want to make sure people have air conditioners. If that's all they can afford is a place without an air conditioner, and it's that or no home. I've stayed in houses without air conditioners a long time ago, and I'm still alive today, 61. So I don't know that I want to get into that business. That's not.
Can I make a proposal or a change amended change to that? Could we base it based on complaint? If somebody comes to
all for
us,
that.
says, I've got mold in my apartment.
Yes.
Instead of having an annual requirement that everybody has to submit to, a fee and an inspection, then base it on
Another employee.
complaints.
There's no way he's going to keep. There is a crap load of apartments in Mercedes.
So base it on a complaint that somebody's saying, hey, I have a problem in my apartment.
Yeah.
It's not livable.
Well, I was doing a little research right now. There's some steps, obviously, that one can take if you're living in an apartment or a house that has mold. Obviously, one, you're going to confront or make the landowner, or management aware of the situation. And then two, the local health department. If it's becoming a big issue, they're not wanting to do nothing, you report it to the health department. They have inspectors as well. Three, yes, the city can come in and kind of look at it, but they're not necessarily liable. They may or may not do much, but it's up to the tenant. They can take you to legal aid, legal services. So we're kind of limited, and it's more of a health department type thing. And legal issue, if they're getting sick and nothing's being done, it falls back on the tenant. I'm sorry, the owners.
The reason I was saying about the health department is like 30 years ago, I went to take a report at a house in Mission, and there was an entire corner of the house like this with 1 million roaches. I mean, they were this thick. I never seen anything like it. And I was like, oh, man, pues no, pues ya les dijimos y no nos hacen caso. So I called the police chief that night, and the police chief says they sent the health department out there. And that's how I know that health departments do. Now, I don't remember, it's for a long time ago, if it was the city health department or it was the county health department. But, so let me just say this. I do applaud us looking for what, if you all hadn't brought this to us, we wouldn't be talking about this. I don't think anybody up here thinks that it's a waste of time to try and help people who are living in substandard housing. I want to make it clear that for my part, and I'm speaking only for me, I don't see the answer to that is hitting up everybody else who is in compliance with a new fee. That is my concern. And I assure you that $50 is not going to pay for another person, because there's going to be a lot of inspections, and then it's going to turn into, well, just go inspect the old looking ones, don't do the new ones, and now we got a whole different ball game.
Could this be a case-to-case basis?
Well, that's what Mr. Pettis suggested.
I think that makes more sense.
I'd like to add to, if these people had enough funds to live in a better place, they can hire a lawyer. That's the issue, that we don't want to have a person that can't afford it to have to go find legal support when they can't afford better living conditions. So all we want to do is an avenue that the city can help and say, look, we got a complaint, we'd like to investigate and determine if there's really mold or roaches or whatever it is.
How did we get involved in this? Didn't we do something
The lady
about it?
called.
The lady called us.
I know, but we went.
We went, did you go out there? You went to the apartment? No, right?
Somebody sent us pictures. I know, because we got pictures of it and all that stuff. Come on up.
So on that note about, what Mr. Perez was saying, I know when somebody complains to the city, being the tenant, by state law, we can go in. If they give us the consent for inspector to go in,
The renter.
the renter. So it not necessarily has to be the owner, so if the tenant gives us the consent to go in, we can go and confirm, whatever, they're, complaining about. And of course, we'll take it from there, take pictures and make sure that they're in compliance with property maintenance and stuff.
Was that person was that apartment out of compliance in any way?
I didn't personally go into, this.
Well, let me ask you this.
myself.
If there had been mold all over the house
Okay.
and that person was sick, would there be a compliance issue currently without an added policy that we're voting on right now? Is there action that can be taken against?
Not really. I mean, unless there's a complaint coming from the tenant.
With a
we'll
complaint.
take action.
I call you, I'm living in a house, it's full of roaches, it's got mold everywhere, big old crack in the window where all the air's coming in, and I'm complaining because he doesn't do anything about it. Now, I know from my job that we usually refer those people to the justice of the peace, right? Because they have.
Correct, yes.
But do you currently have
Authority.
some authority to come to my place, hear out my complaint, and send a letter, take an action?
We actually have, that was part of the building code, that was what's called the International Property Maintenance Code, and that code addresses pretty much everything as far as, the maintenance and the repairs in the house and rodents and things like that. So we have the authority based on that code itself, which is the International Property Maintenance Code, which addresses pretty much all those issues.
All right. So, ma'am, this is the hard part for me. I love your energy. Absolutely love your energy. But I personally, I think we have, this is kind of like the vape thing. I think the laws are there. I think the protection is there. I think we just need to find somebody to go do it, right? I know Alvaro's got his hands full. But But I think everything, so maybe we can all sit down, or you guys sit down and let's do some research and see if some of these gaps that you're looking for are covered. That's me. If anybody wants to make a motion differently, go ahead.
I think that's fair, Mayor.
Yeah, so let's just postpone the vote on this. Is that the correct word?
We have to take a
And,
motion.
and see if there's already something out there, and if there is, you can come back and tell us, look, we don't need this, or if you come back and you say, no, y'all are full of baloney, Mayor, I want it, this is why, we can address it then, is that all right?
Okay.
Mayor, I make a motion to postpone the item, given that, we're gonna look some research into this a little bit further.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Garcia, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ma'am, that's not a no, it's a, let's check it out. All right, thank you. I have, item C, approval of first reading of ordinance 2025-39 to rezone lot 13, Hollywood Acres subdivision.
Mayor, I make a motion to go ahead and approve and forego the first reading of ordinance 2025-39.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Garcia, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item D.
I love the name, by the way.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Hollywood Howl. Item D, approval of resolution 2025-31 regarding the election for the board of directors of the Hidalgo County Appraisal District. Do we have a list? Did they send a list?
There's.
Towards the end, right?
Let me get it for you.
Remember last time there was a way we had to do it. Do we fill something out, or how does the vote go on that? I don't remember.
I thought we had names, somebody, right?
What's that? We have 12 votes and then we decide where the 12 goes?
Yes, we can allocate them all to one or spread them out over several.
Now, there's, what was the name? I know Moreno was on the list as well, correct?
We gotta pick one, or?
Okay, so.
We can split the votes to as many people as we want. We have 12 altogether. Yeah, and for my part, Joe Olivares, he's from the east side and he's always real helpful to our area. And also, Richard Garza has a lot of ties in this area as well.
I would like to speak for Mayor David Moreno, which is mayor of City of Donna. He represents not only the area, he's a strong advocate for the area and for our Mid-Valley region.
There it is, okay.
Is he on here?
Mayor Moreno from City of Donna.
So we have 12 votes, right?
Oh, okay, I see this.
So does anybody else have anybody they want to recommend?
I want to recommend Mayor Richard Garza and Mr. Joe Olivares, but that's or we just pick one, or is?
So we can split it up for 12
or give.
So for me, I want to give the edge to Richard and Joe. I don't know if we can give some votes also
To David.
to David.
Yeah. What is it, 12, right?
12.
We can go 4-4-4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll agree to that. That's fair.
4-4-4, 4 for Richard Garza, 4 for Mr. Joe D. Olivares, and 4 for David Moreno.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Garcia. Doc, you didn't get the same thing. You all right over there?
He's in Aggie heaven.
I always, if we spread them all out evenly, we really won't even vote. I know we're trying to be nice to everybody, but we have no, that would be my only comment on that. I'll go with whatever the group wants.
All right. Yeah, I was the same way. I wanted to kind of, I think.
I don't know who David Moreno is.
I've met him.
He's from Edinburgh, and
Well, I kind of went more mid-valley kind of deal,
Right.
you know? So, but that's my 2 cents of it.
David Moreno is the mayor of Donna. And he's always here in Mercedes. He's a big advocate for the Mid Valley. I think we're obviously part of the Mid Valley. We're all trying to strengthen our Mid Valley roots and region as well. And Donna's Wessico and us are doing a tremendous job being of making and reuniting and making the Mid Valley a power in itself. So,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to item
Which is.
Item 10, monthly department reports. Nobody got anything hot?
Yeah,
All right,
I think we're good.
that's good. All right, moving on to executive session. I have a motion to go into executive session, and that is chapter 551, Texas Government Code, section 551.071, consultation with attorney, 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, 551.074, personnel matters, section 551.086, economic development. I have a motion. Motion by Commissioner Martinez. Second by Dr. Howell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're in executive session. It is 8:10 PM. All right, it is 9:26, and I call this meeting back into regular session. I believe we have no actions on executive session. Moving on to item 13, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn? A motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned. It is 9:27.
God bless. Mercedes, go Tigers.